how you doing? This is TVN School. Вивчаємо з тобою ми англійську. How are you? Що скажеш, коли ти зустрінеш якогось іноземця? So, let's speak English. Англійська мова Шекспіра та нью-йоркських таксистів. Англійська стане у нагоді вам, бойські дівчиська.
Hello guys, my name is Natalia Leshko and I welcome you to an English lesson. Let's start. Today we continue talking about schools and education. So let's start with a text. Have a look. It's a big text about a school. So this text is from Daria and it's about her dream school. As you see, some words are missing. So look at the text for 5 seconds and try to guess which words are missing. So, can you tell me which words are missing? If you guessed, so probably you may say articles are missing. Let me write down what kind of articles do we have. We have a or an, we say a, an, and the article. So, indefinite article, неозначений артикль, and the означений артикль. Now, let's read the text together and fill in the articles. I give you 2 minutes for this. Okay, before we check together, let me remind you some of the rules. Probably, while you're going through the rules, you might change some of your answers. So let's start with indefinite article. And I have a question. Why do we have a and an? Yes, we have talked about this. So we use indefinite article a when the words start with a consonant, like a table, a marker, a telephone, but we can't say a apple. For this reason, we use an article an apple. Okay, let's go through the rules. And the first one is, we use indefinite article a or an to refer to something for the first time. I can see a table. The table is big. And look at my example here. Would you like a drink? I'm talking about a drink for the first time. That's why I say a drink or a table. Let's move on. We use indefinite article a or an with names of jobs. Hello, my name is Natalia. I am a teacher. You can say, hello, my name is Daria. I'm a student. Let's look at my example here. John is a doctor. So we use an article a. Let's move on with rule number 3. We use indefinite article a or an with singular nouns after the words what or such. For example, such a beautiful girl, or such an interesting lesson, or what a wonderful day. Just remember, after the words what and such, we use an article a or an. And the last one, we use an article a or an meaning one, referring to a single object or person or a single unit of measure. In these sentences, using one instead of the indefinite article is grammatically correct. So I can say, I can see one table. And it's absolutely fine if I'm going to say, I can see a table. Let's look at my example here. I'd like an orange and 2 lemons, please. An orange means 1 orange. So I can substitute this with banana. Help me. Yes, I'd like a banana and a lemon, for example. 1 banana, 1 lemon. Well done. Now, let's revise that definite article. Let's start. So, there are more rules here. Let's go with the first one. We use the article the to refer to something which has already been mentioned. I was walking past Benny's bakery when I decided to go into the bakery to get some bread. Or remember my example about the table. I can see a table. That table is big. This is the same. Let's move on. Number 2. We use the article the when you assume there is just one of something in that place, even if it hasn't been mentioned before. Let's look at the example. We went on a walk in the forest yesterday. So we had only one forest, and when I say the forest, I mean that particular forest that is very close to my place. Or you can say, I'm going to the shop. It means that I mean the shop that is in my house on the first floor. So that particular shop. Let's continue. We use the article the in sentences or clauses where you identify a particular person or an object. The man who wrote this book is famous. Not just any man, but the man that wrote that particular book, that particular man. That's why we need to use the article the. Let's move on. We use the article the to refer to people or objects that are unique. As an example, you can go anywhere in the world. So we have only one world, and that's why we use the article the world. Or today I can see the beautiful moon in the sky. Again, the moon and the sky are unique objects. Let's move on. We use the article the before superlatives and ordinal numbers. You are the tallest person in our class. The tallest. And a second example. This is the 3rd time I have called you today. So this is the ordinal number. Let's move on. We use the article the with adjectives to refer to a whole group of people. Let's look at the example. The French enjoy cheese. I can say, while Japanese enjoy sushi. So here, Japanese and French, this is not about the language or people, this is about the nation, the group of people. Or I can say, the Ukrainian love vareniki. Let's move on. Use the with decades. For example, he was born in the 70s, 1970s. So, again, we need to use an article the here. Let's move on. We use the article the with clauses introduced by only. So, with the word only. Let's look at the example. You are the only person he will listen to. Or, this is the only table that I want to buy. And the last one. Use the article the with names of geographical areas, rivers, mountain ranges, groups of islands, canals, and oceans. Let's give me an example. I will go on a cruise down the Nile. We have talked about geographical names a lot at our previous lessons. Do you remember? There were 2 lessons about Britain and Ukraine. We played games. Okay. Now, let's go back to Daria's letter. Yes, and let's check it. So, you can see the text, and now I'm going to read it for you. So, my name is Daria. I'm an 8th grade pupil. I'd like to tell you a few words about the school of my dream. Let's analyze these 3 sentences. So, an 8th grade pupil. I can't say a 8th grade. Why? Good, because the word 8 starts with a vowel. Let me write it for you. So Daria is an 8th grade pupil. You see, the word 8 starts with a vowel. That's why we can't use an article a. Let's move on. I'd like to tell you a few words. A few words. This is the fixed phrase. A few means some. We can't say few because this would change the meaning of the sentence. Few means not enough. A few means some words. So it would be correct to say a few here. Let's move on. About a school of my dream. Again, school of my dream. This is the first time we talk about the school, and we have a lot of schools, right? That's why we need to use an article here. Let's move on. The school where I study is also quite good, but I think several things could be changed there. As you see, here we changed the indefinite article a school of my dream into the school because we continue talking about the school. Let's move on. First of all, my dream school should be modern and well equipped with large corridors and light classrooms. If I were a principal of this school, I'd buy new chairs and desks. Have a look at this sentence again. Chairs and desks. We don't have any articles. Why? Good. We don't use indefinite articles a or n with plural forms. Many chairs, we can't say a chairs or a desks. Bravo. Let's move on. Also, the school needs whiteboards with markers or even smart boards. The same rule applies here. We don't use indefinite article a or n with plural words. They would look good in classrooms. Smart boards are extremely useful for studying. Well done, no articles here. Let's continue. Secondly, I would cancel homework. Again, homework, we don't use any articles here because we're not talking about a particular homework. This homework or that homework. Can we count homework? 1, 2, 3. Homeworks? It doesn't work. That's why we don't use an article here. It would be better if children could do all exercises during school hours and then be free. I also think that students shouldn't carry such heavy rucksacks. You do remember that after the word such, we need to use an article, right? Such a lovely day. But we have rucksacks here. We can't say such a heavy rucksacks. This is plural. That's why we avoid using a or n. They could simply leave their textbooks and workbooks at school library. For example, my dream school should have a large playground and a swimming pool. I love swimming and I would be happy to have swimming lessons instead of other activities at PE lesson. As for the cafeteria, I would change the food there and I would make the breaks a little bit longer so that children can eat without rush. Let's look at this sentence again. The cafeteria, the food, and the breaks. We're talking about the particular cafeteria at school, not in the offices or somewhere in the world. We are talking about that particular place in that particular school. The same applies for the food and the breaks. Let's move on. I would also like to have a more spacious library with lots of interesting books and magazines. In my dream school, all teachers are kind, intelligent, and friendly. They get on well with pupils. I would like to go to different concerts, exhibitions, picnics more often with my class. And the last sentence. This is the idea of my dream school, and I hope that someday schools will become a better place to study. Again, the idea of my dream, this is the idea. We're talking about this particular text. That's why we use the article there here. So it looks like a very nice text and a very nice school of Daria's dream. Now I want you to revise some of the classroom. Look at the text. So we have two columns: football, music, swimming, art, assembly, outdoor, and dance. And we have the second part of those places, like studio, pool, stadium, hall, and court. I would like you to match these two columns. For example, you can't say football pool, right? You need to say football stadium. I give you 30 seconds, look at the words and try to match them. Okay, ready to check? Let's go. What applies to football again? Football stadium. Let's write it down. Fantastic. What about music? Good. Music studio. Let's go with swimming. Swimming pool. Okay, what goes with art? Art studio, bravo. Let's write it down. Fantastic. What about assembly? Assembly hall. Good. Outdoor, help me please. Okay. Outdoor stadium. Good. And what about dance? Dance studio. Which word we didn't use? Good. We didn't use court. Can we say football court? No. What did we use with the word court? Basketball court. Let's write it down. Fantastic. Now, I want you to have some listening task. For this, I'm going to call my friend. So, his name is George Tarayan. He's a teacher of English. And we're going to discuss some classrooms, some rooms. We'll talk about the school mainly. So I would like you to listen and remember the information that he's going to share. Ready?
Hello, George.
Hi, Natalia. Nice to hear you.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm quite fine, thank you. The weather is not perfect, but I'm all right. What about you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much. So, George, I have a couple of questions to you. Do you mind answering the questions?
No, not at all. Sure. Go ahead. Ask me.
So I know that you're working at school as a teacher of English. So tell me please, is it a big school?
Yes, I believe it's quite big.
How many rooms do you have there?
I'm not sure, but I think more than 100.
Oh, fantastic. So it sounds like a really big school. How many students do you have there?
I'm quite sure more than 1,000.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so I have a very important question. Which rooms do you think are the most important at school?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I think we have many important rooms in our school. First of all, my room is very important. It's an English class where students learn English. But also, I believe that other rooms are also important, like the gym or the library with lots of books or the rooms of other subjects.
Would you like to have a gym and a swimming pool at school?
Yes, I quite agree with you. It's nice to have a gym and it's nice to have a swimming pool. And it's even better to have both at the same time if possible.
Okay. You have also mentioned library. Why do you think library is important?
Oh, I think it's very important. It's the place with all the knowledge. You can get the books, you can find the things that you need, and also have some computers where you can find information that's necessary for you.
Am I hearing that computer rooms are also important?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I believe they are important, especially in the 21st century.
Okay. And what about Wi-Fi access? Would you allow your students to have the free internet connection all day long?
Well, maybe not free, but maybe limited connection. It's the case so that they don't spend all their time in the internet surfing and browsing and playing and watching videos.
I see your point. Okay, the last question for today. Should schools buy different games, supplies, or goods, or just invest in smart boards? What do you think?
That's an interesting question. I believe schools should be able to buy all the supplies they need if they can. I also think that smart boards are very important, of course, but I firmly believe that really good teachers can have many productive lessons without any equipment, just a board and a marker.
Wow, that's a very nice answer. Thank you very much for your time and have a good day.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you. Have a great day as well.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fantastic. So, I would like to say that that was a very interesting talk. Now, let's revise the information. So, does he have a big school or a little one? Okay, quite big. Well done. What about the rooms? More than 100. Fantastic. And students, how many students are there? 100 or 1,000? Yes, more than 1,000 students. And what were the rooms that George thinks are important? Yes, he mentioned that his room is very important. He's an English teacher. Of course, I would probably also say the same, that my room is important because I'm an important teacher, right? But he also mentioned a gym that is very important and library. Well done. Why does he think that libraries are important? Yes, because we can find a lot of books, we can find computers there, and we can find the information online. Bravo. And talking about the investment that the school should do you remember whiteboards or supplies, books and games? Yes, he said that he wouldn't put all the eggs into one basket. So it would be nice to have games, supplies, books, together with technology. But he mentioned a very important information that a good teacher doesn't need anything for the lesson, just the board and the marker. So during the next lesson, we are going to talk about teachers. What kind of features are important for the teachers of a nice 21st century school? So your homework task is to revise the following tenses: the present and past simple and the present and past perfect. Next lessons, we are going to have grammar lessons. And there is a bell. It means that we need to stop the lesson. Thank you very much for joining me for this lesson. See you next time. Bye-bye.